Folks, did you know that at one point in time, Marvel wanted to dip into the horror genre? That's right. They want to be along the ranks of Scream, Halloween, Final Destination. And they did have some movies that did go into the horror genre. They've done the Blade trilogy. They also have done the Ghost Rider double feature. Even though while I like those movies, I wouldn't really classify them as horror films. Even they do have some horror elements in them. But they did produce a movie that did go into those horror elements, and they really wanted to make this movie a horror movie. They wanted to dig deep into that horror genre. This movie came out in the year 2005. It's directed by Brett Leonard. And the movie I'm talking about is a movie that you probably have not yet seen. And probably for good reason. This movie is The Man Thing. That's right, Man Thing. Of all the Marvel movies I've ever seen, I never thought I would see a Man Thing movie. I thought things couldn't get weirder than Howard the Duck. But they did. And I'll give Marvel credit for filming a motion picture about a lesser known character. It's better than doing Spider-Man, X-Men all the time. So I'll take Man Thing. And while I was doing my Marvel movie collection about a decade ago, when I saw they made a Man Thing film, I was just surprised they made one. So I did some research. Man Thing was going to have a Halloween release date in 2005. However, when they showed the film from the test screening, the audience apparently left before the movie ended. They wrote a bunch of negative reviews about the movie. The executives of Marvel also thought that this movie wouldn't be bankable in the box office. So they pulled its US release date. Instead, this movie got a limited release internationally and only made like $1 million at the box office. So Marvel's biggest box office bomb. Here in the US, it was released as a sci-fi original. We all know how good those movies are. We all know the type of quality that sci-fi produces when they make movies. Have you seen Spiders 3D? Oh no. But Man Thing, my thoughts on it. I've had this movie for about 9 years. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I love watching it every year. I really do. There's something magical about it. Man Thing. If I had to be real here, the movie would probably get a 2 out of 10. Here are the positives. The movie makes a reference to the Nexus of All Realities, which is featured in the Man-Thing comics. That's how Man-Thing gets his powers. In the Nexus of All Realities. And they also mention Man-Thing's identity, his real name, Ted Sallis. That's basically what the movie gets right. As far as being accurate to the source material, it's not accurate at all. It's vastly different. In the comics, Man-Thing takes place in the Florida Everglades. In the movie, the film takes place in Louisiana. But they're actually in Australia. That's where the movie's being filmed. So they get some type of tax credit. Apparently it's cheaper to produce movies in Australia than in the US. Ted Sallis, he's not a scientist in this movie. He said he's a Native American, I think. You barely see Man-Thing. There's a lot of characters in here that aren't comic book characters at all. There's actually 3 characters in here. One of them's Steve Gerber, Val Mayerick. There's some other guy who I forgot, but they're the creators of Man-Thing. Until they turned those creators of Man-Thing into characters and something like that. All right. As far as my big negative with this film, you have no idea. You have no idea what's going on in this movie. There's no backstory to it. They don't tell you who Ted Sallis is. Why is he a Native American? Why did he take Frederick Schist's money? Who is Schist? What is Schist Industries? There's a sheriff in this movie named Kyle Williams. They don't tell you much about him. They don't tell you where he's from. In the movie, they say he's a big city sheriff. He has an accent, so I guess he's from the South, maybe Miami. Could be from New York, could be from San Francisco, I don't know. But they don't really give you a backstory to Man-Thing. You just jump right on in. Now, apparently there is a prequel comic to this film. But I don't read the comics. Maybe I should. I don't know. I'm not really a big reader. So yeah, when I watched this movie in 2013, I was kind of lost. So I had no clue what was happening. So to be real, I would give the movie a 2 out of 10. But that's not my official rating. Because when I first got this movie, while I was watching, I was laughing like a hyena. This movie is one of the funniest bad movies I have ever seen. It's funny. The second half of this movie is entertaining. You got people slipping on their own crap. You have Man-Thing slamming people through boats, shoving branches down people's throats. You have Man-Thing ripping people apart. You have people shooting each other. You have people running into the woods, searching for the monster like idiots, screaming out into the woods where Man-Thing can hear them. It's pretty funny to see these idiot people get what comes of it. One thing I hate about movies is stupid people. It's funny to see them get killed. And there's a lot of killing in this movie. Alright, there's some gruesome images. There's a lot of profanity. As far as the violence goes, there's not a lot of violence. Basically, Man-Thing is one of those typical horror films that I'm not too fond with. Jump scares and gore. That's basically what this movie is. But it's funny. Dude, you wouldn't believe how hard I was laughing 9 years ago when I saw this film. That's why I watch it every year. It's funny. It really is. This is why I like it. It makes me laugh. In entertainment, there's two ways I want to feel to a project. I want to be anticipated for what's next, or just laugh. And since I laughed at this movie so hard, I have to be real here. Man-Thing wins. I have to give it a 10 out of 10. I laughed. I was entertained by it. I don't know if I should have been laughing at the film. I mean, this movie right here is a horror movie, but if you watch it, it comes off as a comedy film. This movie's just so cringe that it's funny. It's also dark too. You got this cringe humor, got this dark tone. It's just really weird and funny. I know some people out there don't like Man-Thing. They probably hate it, but I like it for what it is. So if you want to watch a short horror film, it's around 90 minutes. Maybe you're a Marvel comic book fan. Maybe you're a DC fan. Maybe you like Swamp Thing. I don't know. This movie might be for you. But since this movie was so funny, man, I have to give it a 10 out of 10. It was funny. If I was bored by it, I'd probably get a 2 out of 10, but I have to get a 10 out of 10, man. This movie just makes me laugh. It's just funny. I don't know how to explain it, but Man-Thing, man, this movie's awesome. This is my 2013 Movie of the Year winner right here. Man-Thing. Well, this has been your review of Man-Thing. Tell me how you feel below. Do you think Man-Thing will pop up in the MCU? I think you might. It's about time we get another Man-Thing movie on a big screen. So, it's been your official Man-Thing review. So, see you all later, maybe next week.